toenails and blistered heels, salt stains streaking down my face. Sun is beating, muscles scream, but I'm moving at my pace. Run the riot! Leave the world behind! Run the riot! You free your body and your
All right. Today on the Run the Riot podcast, we got my boy, Phil Klinkner. I said it right. Let's go.
Yeah, you got it, brother. You got it, man.
How you doing, man?
Everything is just good. Like, riding the wave. Got a good run in today. It's my the longest run I've had since the Badger. So
Nice.
it was just nice to kind of, wasn't even physical, just getting that mental, like placement of where I, settling in.
Yeah.
And just being like, yeah, I'm doing this for 3.5 hours, it's fine,
I'm doing this again. It's
Yeah.
time.
But I would just said to Malia, my wife, I said, I really need a long run. Yeah. And well, if you think about it, it's been like almost a month, because we tapered, and then
Yeah.
I think we had talked last night about how I felt like you really put me in the right direction as far as like recovery.
Yeah.
Because once you look at what I did today, I think you're going to be like, okay, he's back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
no,
cool.
it's all good.
I hadn't checked it out yet. I rushed back from work and getting things set up, but yeah, I'm curious to see for myself that Phil's back.
Oh man, cardio king, man. It's all
Cardio king. There you go. Well, so Phil, this is for everybody listening. You kind of went through, you listened to the podcast and you reached out to me about coaching and stuff. And you and I, it's been fun. We had kind of a short time to the Badger, but I think it was pretty productive. And dude, it's been fun getting to know you. And I love your attitude. I love your energy, and that you're like, dude, you're all in. Like, you're all in.
Hey,
if anybody doubts that you're all in, I don't know what's wrong with them, man.
Well, I was thinking about everything, leading up to this, and I just said to myself, maybe like this ultra stuff is just a step to what I'm actually seeking. Like we have some, plans coming up, but maybe, I'm having a blast doing it. It's just so like, but maybe it's just a stepping stone into like whatever it is where I might end up, like,
yeah,
I'm loving it though. I mean, you're cool. Like all the podcasts I've listened to, shout out Eric Dieter, love him.
Yeah,
definitely, man. And that's that's actually where I found you, because you guys had an interview together. And then when I was done with all the ultramarathon mindset podcasts, I had already had it in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna check out this Mr. Run the Riot,
Nice.
Yeah. So, and then here we are. So
and here we are. Well, so through getting to know you and talking, like it sounds, we got to get what led to the race, and we want to talk about the race. But dude, we got some Phil life stuff to unpack, man. Because every time we talking, I'm hearing something different, like you did something you did or whatever, and I'm like, holy crud, this guy's been all like doing all kind of cool stuff. So
yeah.
So
yeah, man, it's
So we gotta like do a big rewind, and let's just start from the beginning, man. Let's tell everybody like where are you from?
Well, yeah, I lived in Madison for a couple of years while I was in college, but other than that, I've lived in small towns, villages, kind of like within 20 minutes of Madison. And I'm just going to like say about Madison, man, like, what a place. I mean, if you're a halfway, intelligent person that has a little bit of drive, you can make it here and have a good time. There is so many things to do here. I mean,
how big is Wisconsin? I don't even know how big Madison, Wisconsin is. How big is it?
There's like they're stretching to about 300,000 people in the
Okay,
city, and then they
cool.
have a lot of cool towns around it. So
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I like it here. I guess the point,
yeah, yeah. That's
definitely.
cool.
You can get a lot of stuff.
So you've always been, in that area from.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the guy that's like never left the county.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I've been out of the country, but
yeah,
like
yeah,
for the most part, that's where we're at,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I love it here, It's like it's where I grew up, and
yeah,
it's been good to me, like this
yeah.
area. It really
That's cool.
has,
That's cool.
for sure.
Well, and we've had some interesting conversations about like your upbringing and how it's kind of helped shape you and who you are. And so tell me what it was like to be little Phil, man. Tell me what that was like.
Well, this is actually something I never mentioned to you. So, like, when I was a kid, my nickname by my family, by the way, was Fatty.
Oh,
And I mean,
wow.
yeah, this was like, because I can remember about back to like 3-ish, and progress from there. But yeah, my family used to call me Fatty at like 4 years old. You know what
Dang,
I
dude.
mean? And
Yeah.
then so what ended up happening was 85, I'm about almost 5, and Karate Kid movie came out. And
Right.
I must have just, I just fell in love. I'm like, "Ma, Dad, come on." They got me into it, and I'd done some classes, some weekly classes, and then there's this opportunity back then with the school I was in where you pay $1,200, and it was called the Black Belt Club. So like
Mm,
you could go there as much as you want until you got your black belt, and that's what ended up happening. My mom and dad, actually, I grew up in a trailer park,
okay.
and I kind of wear it as a badge, because
Yeah.
my parents like came up, and it was actually someone through karate that they ended up buying the house I'm sitting in right now.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, yeah. So like it all comes full circle, but my mom and dad, we lived in a trailer park. So
Yeah.
we had the means we had. And
Yeah.
here I am, like almost 5, like begging, like, I want to be the Karate Kid,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
so they're stewing over it. And my mom just went to my grandmother and said, "What do you think?" And my grandmother she said, "Yeah, you should do it." Cause it was like $1,200 to join this black belt club. And, back in '85, that was like a couple mortgage payments at least, you know.
That's big money, man.
But, so I gotta thank my grandmother because that was the start of me not being fatty anymore, And like we we would and like I just took to it,
Yeah.
and I was just joking with my mother the other day because we watch a lot of like UFC and stuff. We'll go out or order it, and she'll watch a lot of it with us. And I said, "See, this is your fault. You're watching this right now because you schlepped me around for how many years?" And then so she would schlub me around during the week, and
Mm,
then on the weekends I'd be with my dad all alone, and we'd be going to like tournaments.
yeah.
You name
Yeah.
it. We went to the cities, and I don't know. I just had a knack for winning trophies.
So you were, I mean, like, so from an early age, like you were all in. I mean, like even young like that, like you were all in.
Well, it was weird because, like, man, my dad, he knew like the key words. Even at that age, he knew like he was playing me, man. He hit all the notes with me, and he just knew what to say to like get me like ready to go and pumped
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
and kind of like put into work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we showed up on those weekends to do tournaments, we were leaving with something,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Well, as a dad, it's fun though when you to watch your kids find something they love. Like even my daughter, Autumn, I've shared with you, like I love watching her play softball and when she's all in and she hustles and I love that. And so, you probably bringing your dad joy watching you just get it and put in, when you see anybody, but especially your kid, put work
Yeah,
in and then it
right.
translates, that's good stuff.
Yeah, no, and like he was really good at like breaking me down, but building me back up to where like
Hmm.
I was so much better than before
Yeah.
when he broke me down. And
Yeah.
that continued for my whole life,
Yeah.
like so like from there I was about, I got my black belt, I'm winning all these
Okay.
tournaments, this and that, and I got to about 13, and I'm sure everyone can remember when they're 13, you want to fit in, and we had moved out of the trailer park and got that house like I was saying from the people that we knew from the karate situation.
Yeah.
So I moved to a new town at about 13 and just made friends, and next thing you know they're like, oh, join the soccer team, my dad's the coach, you know so
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I've never done this, but whatever, let's do it. And that it kind of went from doing the martial arts thing to next thing you know we're playing soccer like all the time, and it worked out for me.
Yeah.
I was a
Yeah.
big fish in a small pond right outside Madison. I think my class was about 162 or something.
Yeah.
And I was in the group of BMOCs, like big man on campus,
Yeah. Yeah.
There was like there wasn't just one of them, but like there was a little group of like the guys that were like, okay, they're really good at their sports. And as a kid, we all know like that kind of trickles down. It makes it easier to like get through school, like
Yeah.
especially at that point in your life, like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
got something you're invested in and like keeps you busy. And it kind of reminds me of like lately, like I started doing this ultra stuff, and people were like, my close people, they were just like, what's going on with Phil? What's going on with Phil?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, no, man, like it just reminds me of that. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, like, but
It
everyone
beca-
came around, with
yeah.
the ultra stuff. It took a little bit, but right before, I know we're getting to it, but you and I worked on the Badger 100. Like you said, we didn't have a lot of time, but like, that month before, like all the people it felt like I alienated, like friends, family. Well, I mean, most people listening to this right now know what it takes, to
Yeah.
put in that effort.
Yeah.
And I just made me feel good that people were finally like, okay, this is what Phil's gonna do,
Yeah.
and we're with him,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was a great feeling just to like
Yeah.
finally like have, I got decent friends at work and I'm super close with. I think my mom was the biggest one because I had been basically, I'm in between my house and her house, and they're about 10-15 minutes away.
Yeah.
And my pop, like, he had prostate cancer, so I ended up coming back home and being his primary caretaker until he passed in March
Yeah.
of 2023. But it was like I'm back home, I'm
Yeah.
taking care of everything. I'm finally I grow up, man. It was my time. It was my time to actually not be a kid anymore. So I'm here. My dad passed, 7-8 months went by, and I'm just trying, I feel bad for my sister and my mom the most. My dad would slap me right now if he saw me like, dragging, being, just not with it. He'd want me
Yeah.
to be doing stuff like this,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So like for me, it was just like I gotta do something for my family just to take their minds off what had happened.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of bow hunting in my family, archery for deer. And
Yeah.
what ended up happening is, well, I'm a postman, first of all. So
Yeah.
that's my job. And we get about 3.5 weeks of leave every year. So I had kind of like not gotten a nice deer in a while, like a few years. And my deer hunting is on point, you name it. I got heads everywhere, So
Nice. Yeah.
I take off, I use all my vacation, like, 25 days or something crazy like that, all for
Yeah.
November, like the sweet spot. And sweet November, we call it. But
Nice.
call in 2 days before my vacation even starts. And on the second day that I called in, I shot my deer. after like many years of not getting the buck I wanted. I
Yeah.
literally shot it before my vacation even started.
Yeah.
So I sat around for about like 2 or 3 days, and that's because I walk 14 miles like every day at work. So like
Yeah.
even though it's in like zone 1 for the most part, it's still, you're on feet, you're moving,
Time on feet. Yeah.
I got some decent hills on my route, and I just like I got to do something. My body's shutting down, and
Mm.
it literally only took like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
So, this is legit truth. Like one morning I woke up and I sat up and I just said, I'm going to change my life today, because at the
Mm.
time I was like 235 pounds and I'm 5'9" in my
Mm.
ultras, so
Yeah.
like I always told myself that, yeah, yeah, I carry the weight well. I just made up all those excuses in my mind, like I know I'm overweight and this and that, and I'm drinking too much, which is where I'm leading. So ever since I started working for the post office, it happened literally like that February in 2020 where like everything shut down.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
I had worked at a family restaurant bar for I started doing dishes when I was like 11 years old, because my mom waitress there, and then my dad did the cleaning at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm 11. They're like, something to do, make
Yeah.
some money. My dad's probably like, "Look, we got to teach him something here."
Yeah.
And no, those are good people over there. I stuck with them for like 20 years, But when the COVID thing happened, it was like, because I got a house, I
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
mortgage, I got a wife, I'm like, I got to do something, because we were actually, when that happened, we were in Utah snowboarding.
Oh wow.
And yeah, no, like it literally, it was like, because we went to like Park City, that resort 10 years in a row. I
Mm.
mean, we were like regulars there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like the night before the Rudy Gobert press conference where he had gotten COVID, and I think if you were paying attention, that's kind of what sparked everything, because all of a sudden this famous person had it.
Yeah.
Like before we saw that same day, that night that happened, we were in a bar that, I mean, completely covered with people.
Yeah.
Like
Packed out.
you
Yeah.
couldn't move. And then that Rudy Gobert conference happens later in the night. And then the next morning, it's like nobody is on the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like nothing's open, like, and I was kind of nervous because I'm like, are they gonna shut down the state? What is going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I started thinking about my father-in-law, and I'm like, if I don't get Malia back, he's gonna like have me for lunch.
Yeah.
So
It's
like
on.
yeah, right. So we got out of the condo, got out of Utah, and we hadn't been back since. So like,
Wow.
yeah, and we went 10 years in a row, man. We love it
Mm.
out there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good snowboarding.
Yeah.
But so I end up like getting the job at the post office. I'm carrying mail. It's what I still do. It's funny because I worked at a bar and restaurant my whole life, and people that have worked in that industry, they know what's up. Like you run into opportunities, probably more bad than good, you know. But like, so when I started working in the post office, and I would never say anything bad about my job, but when you first start, they work you over,
Yeah.
like, and in my station, the average of people that make it that come in is 2 out of 10.
Oh
So
wow.
people that like yeah, yeah, like people just think putting mail in a box. No, there's office work, and just I could go on and on. But
Yeah.
like, so, and I had never done office work before. So like I was just like, fish out of water. And people there though were super cool because they
Yeah.
knew I was trying.
Yeah.
So eventually everything worked out. I started fitting in, I'd say I'm good at the job. And
Yeah.
the issue is it was like a catalyst for drinking though.
Mm.
Because I've been there, we're working on getting to 6 years now. And I think there was a 21-day stretch where I didn't drink, like in like 5 years, you
Oh,
know,
wow. Yeah.
because, but every day, a big portion of my day was like, why am I drinking so much? You know,
Mm.
like
Yeah.
why am I doing this? You know,
Yeah.
and but like I never like was able to like get over that and stop. You
Yeah.
know, so for like literally almost 5 years, I'm coming home. I'm having 6 beers. I've never drank and drove before.
Yeah.
That's because I had too many friends in high school that were like getting 2 DUIs in like 1 week, and just I made sure I learned my lesson from them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, even though I was only hurting myself for all those years, I still was carrying that on my shoulders. I'm like, I know I'm not doing right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, about the one day I woke up and said I'm gonna change my life because my body felt like it was shutting down. I have this it's a Bowflex machine. It's called the N3, and it's kind of like an elliptical stairmaster mix.
Yeah.
And when I was cycling, that's what I trained on all the time.
Yeah.
And I would ride like probably like 12 miles to work, but I was just hitting that M3 like all the time. And we did this was about 5 years before COVID. And we got into some pretty good cycling, you know, like we were pretty good. Like I like to describe it as I was like the cat guy's person they just get to beat on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd hang with all the cat guys, and then, you know, for about 70 miles, and then finally I'm like, I gotta do a pull. And like
Yeah.
as soon as I did that pull, you know, I'm Mr. Macho Man, of course, you know, and no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time I did that pull at 70 miles, I ended up just dropping off from the pack. No, that was a good time though. I haven't really cycled much since COVID, but you know, I have a lot of good memories about that. But to get where we're going, and I was on this vacation, I start doing, you know, the spark lit. You know, after I said I was going to change my life, the
Yeah.
spark was lit, and I got about a month into just doing that elliptical every day. You know,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
go to my wife and I say, because you know she knows what's up. I've done like a bunch of different things, like basically compared to like 90% of the people, you know, I like epic things, you know, whether it was on
Yeah.
my bike, soccer, hunting, snowboarding. And I said to her, I said, so what should we do with this? Because I'm kind of at that point like
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
And
I
like
want some
so
goals here. Yeah.
right. So I at the time had known Malia for about 15 years. And about 10 years before, my sister had like started doing some marathons.
Yeah.
And then actually my boss's daughter, like,
Hmm.
and so the April and my boss's daughter were kind of doing some marathons together, and I would help them train here and there. I did a half marathon here, a couple 10Ks, you know, Shamrock
Yeah.
Shuffle type stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I had asked Malia like a few times during that period, you think you'd help me train for a marathon? Because she ran cross country for UW Madison. And she would
Gotcha.
always say, no, it ruined my knees. I'm not helping you do that, you know. So, like, fast forward to where we're at now, after I sat up on my bed and said, I'm going to change my life. And we got that spark going. And I went to her and I said, so what are we going to do with this? And for some reason in my mind, I knew what she was going to say. I knew
Huh.
she was going to say, well, maybe you should do a marathon. Even
Yeah.
though for like 15 years, she's like, I won't help you train for a marathon.
Yeah.
But I just knew she was going to say that somehow. So
Yeah.
we're at that point, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's something I kind of want to always do. And she's looking around like online, like what's coming up around the Madison area. And it was like the middle of January, so we had time, and she finds it's called the Madison Ultras. She's
Hmm.
like, I can't find you a marathon, but there's this thing called the Madison Ultras, and it's only like 5 miles more, you know.
Yeah.
and
Just only 5 miles more. Yeah.
right. And I'm thinking like, it's fine, you know. I gotta like show my sister up anyways because she done a
Yeah. Yeah.
handful of marathons. I'm like, yeah, why not? 5 more miles. I could just, you know, talk bleep to my sister. And, so at work, I have a lot of time to just kind of like listen to podcasts or music. I'm only in the office typically for about an hour and a half. So
Yeah.
I have about, 6 hours of literally just time to either talk to myself or someone else at work
Yeah. Yeah.
or listen to some podcasts. So I actually started listening to it was called the Crummy Marathoners. And
Hmm.
I actually liked, his name was Harrison Crumb, and they were cool. Like he was cool. Like, and he, I don't know, I just enjoyed and was entertained by the podcast. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, well, I'm not doing a marathon after I got through all them. I said, I'm doing an ultra marathon. So I'm going around like trying to look up ultra marathon. And then I run into ultra marathon mindset. And like I said, shout out Eric Dieter, man. Like, I don't know what he's up to, but I liked his voice. He was entertaining. He kind of like inspired me,
Yeah.
because he always talked about, I mean, he was like a business dude. So like a lot of the stuff he said related to like business,
Yeah.
but he always related it to like ultras, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm like, man, like cool, So I listened to all his podcasts and you were on one of them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and as soon as I heard that episode with you, I'm like, once I'm done with all these podcasts, I'm gonna check this Run the Riot dude out. You
Yeah.
know. So I'm on to my third podcast that I'm listening to at work. And you're telling all your stories, and I'm sure like if you're listening, people have heard most of them, and I'm just thinking like this is a dude, man. Like, this is a guy that, like, I probably would have hung out in like high school or something, or would have, I would have like played soccer or hockey with.
Yeah.
And so I just dug it, And then me and I, we got through that first 50K, and I was on like a 3:30 marathon pace, and this was on road, by the
Yeah.
way. It
Okay.
was Madison and Ultras, and I got about that fourth loop and my quads just disintegrated.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I hiked it out, So I was like whatever it was, 5:40 or whatever for my first 50. And then, I'm listening to all these podcasts and stuff, and it's all trail running and this and that, and I didn't find what I was seeking,
Mm.
like from that first 50K. Like I
Yeah.
was happy. Like it's funny because like I'm training for this thing for about 4 months. Every time I'm training, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna cross that finish line. And it's like, all these people are gonna be there and they're gonna be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then so like I finish it and my sister's there, and Malia's there, and my sister comes up to me right because what happened was is I didn't even go for the medal. Like, because you know how they have like little kids come out and give you the medal. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
crossed it and like fell over. And
Yeah.
my sister comes up to me and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "That was really hard." And then she
Yeah.
asked me another I said she asked me another question. I'm like, "No, no, that was really hard."
It,
So
it's it,
like,
it's funny, dude. Like, you got it. You picture in your mind. I remember the first time my wife was, at an, I don't even remember which one it was. Probably 100, and she was at the finish, and like, did I win or podium? I don't remember, but like I finished, and she's like, "That's it." Like, there's hardly anybody there. I was like, "Yep, that's it. That's it. We're done." You're like,
no, yeah, no, it's weird because like I was literally like practicing on like the treadmill or my training, and I'm like, this is how I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna look like
yeah,
this, I'm gonna get that perfect picture, you know. And no, but like it was cool, and
yeah,
then that was like a good size portion of Kool-Aid we drank there.
yeah,
And we go and we're like, okay, let's do something else. So we ended up getting into this 50K actually trail run, which
yeah.
is on the trails that they have the Kettle Moraine 100.
Mm,
So it's just like a section of that, a 50K.
yeah,
I really liked it, man. Like,
yeah,
just my first time being on the trails, and I ended up linking up with a dude that I could tell knew what he was doing. And he ended up being like one of the race director's friends and stuff. I ended up
yeah,
figuring out, but I just latched on to him and we got it done, you
yeah,
know. and it was just good vibes. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you
Yeah.
show up in the middle of nowhere, there's about 100 people there and they're all chilling, you know. So I loved that experience.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, we're just, well, there's a 100-miler out there, because I'm listening to all these well, no, you know what I mean though. I'm listening to
Yeah.
all these podcasts and they're talking about hundreds and this and that. And we have what I ended up doing was the Badger 100,
Yeah.
and the trail is literally like 20 minutes from either spot, my house or my mom's.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like,
Why not?
yeah, exactly. So we sign up for that, and then like, because you know we're just drunk on Kool-Aid right now,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she orders like the Ultra magazine, you know, so we
Yeah.
got those coming, and she's looking through it and stuff, and she's like, oh, there's this 100-miler Hennepin, it's kind of close, we could probably do that. So like, I'm signed up for that. So I'm signed up for 200s, and I've never, you know, all I've done is like 250Ks, you know.
That's so good. I love it.
It's, yeah, no, I know. But the whole time I'm keeping up, you know, like
Yeah.
I'm doing the stupid things you like print off online, you know,
Yeah.
whatever distance. I'm hanging with those and getting all the work done. And then, you know, I imagine it's kind of like when a couple's having their baby, it's like that baby's coming. And that's what it felt like to me. Like that it's coming. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I was just, you know, I got that like older brother vibe from you, and I was listening to the podcast, and I said to myself, like a few times, I'm like, I know I can do this Badger 100, which by the way, my mom and my in-laws, thank you. They paid for that registration for my birthday, you know,
Oh,
because it
that's
was like
awesome.
400 and something. And
Yeah.
but I'm like, I never had a personal trainer or anything like that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna reach out to this dude, see what he has to say. And
Yeah.
so we hook up, and you know, we're figuring each other out. I feel like we haven't had a bad conversation. You know, it's always been
No.
like
Yeah.
we always go over on the half hour, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic. Like, you know, I'm a postman. Like, you know, it's an investment, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But when I think back to like what my grandma had said to my mom, you know, go back to the start. She's like, yeah, do it. Like pay
Yeah.
the 1,200.
Yeah.
And it changed my whole life going forward from when I was 5 years old. And
Yeah.
so we did it. And now I wish I would have like gotten a personal trainer like 20 years ago. Cause I like, well, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell I like working with you. I like going on the phone and seeing what I did and being held accountable. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm always going to do the workouts, but
I was
like,
gonna say you do the workouts, like you're you know, you trust in, like you even I don't know how many times you said that. I'm trusting the process. I'm trusting, you know, just
yeah,
and
yeah,
putting the work in.
right.
And that's what's, you know, like it's fun coaching because, you know, I can help guide or whatever, but Phil still got to do the work. Like I can't, you know, I can't make you do the work. And so like you already had that mindset. You just need some, you know, the guidance and experience. And so that's fun. I enjoy that.
Yeah, no, hopefully I'm not too hard to coach, you know.
Nah, man, it's
we
good.
only had, I think that whole time on Training Peaks, I had one session that wasn't green, and that was because a tornado warning came through when I was on the trail. I think we
Yep.
had like a 4-hour day.
Yeah, you had
And
to cut it. I forgot, a little short.
yeah, no, man, like this guy just pulls up at the trailhead, because I had just come back from like to like just munch up on a couple things and then go back out. He's like, there's a tornado warning and you're in Argyle, whatever that means. But he seemed really like, you know, direct about it. And
Concerned.
yeah, exactly. And luckily I had just gotten back to the truck. And
Yeah.
I said to Malia, because she comes out with me and does her thing. I said, yeah, we should probably go. Like, I'll just finish this on the treadmill. And
Yeah.
sure enough, like a tornado hit 5 miles from the trail.
That's
So
crazy.
we were like in it,
Yeah, yeah.
but
That's like
no,
Oklahoma stuff, man.
oh, dude, I've been through 3 tornadoes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. No, like when we moved in to where I'm sitting now, we were here about 2 weeks, and a tornado ripped apart I mean, it's this my mom's place is in a really good neighborhood, and
Yeah.
just destroyed like however many houses. Luckily, nobody was killed,
Yeah.
but
Phew.
so and then 10 whatever years later, I buy my house, and its city's called Stoughton. It's about 20 miles south of Madison, and I'm there like literally like the same thing, 2 weeks, and a tornado comes through Stoughton, and I'm just like, I'm at work, and I'm like, I gotta go, man. I just bought this house, and
Gotta
a
make sure I still
tornado
got
ripped
the
through
house.
it. Right. I mean, I had already been. I mean, I don't know if you've ever had a tornado go by you, but it sounds like a train, man. Like
Yeah.
it goes through your entire body. Like you feel it, I mean, like literally like a train's going from ear to ear through your head. So, anyways, about it was probably less than 5 years ago. There's another tornado that come around Stoughton. And this one actually damaged our house.
Yeah.
So we had a claim and everything. But yeah, no,
That's crazy.
I had my dog Marvin, God bless him. Him and I, because my house is 2-story, and we're sleeping upstairs, and neither one of us wake up. But then, right, exactly. So the next morning, we go outside, and the roof's got a tree on it, and just the whole,
just let's do the whole thing.
the whole thing. Yeah, no, man. I swear to God, we slept through it all on the second floor,
That's
which is
awesome.
just crazy.
At least you didn't wake up dead. That was good.
Oh man. Yeah, but tornadoes and me, they just follow me, man. So
Yeah. All right.
hopefully
You're
I
not coming
can.
hang out at my house, bro.
Yeah, well, you're the one that lives in Tornado Alley, not me,
I know.
man.
Well, so I've always wanted to. I always want to see one, but one that's out in the middle of nowhere where it's not going to hurt anybody. I've seen water spouts over Lake Pontchartrain in South Louisiana. Been through hurricanes in South Louisiana, and where I live now, I saw one from my backyard. I guess about 6 years ago, and it was going the other way, but I saw it, and I was like,
Yeah, it's what an experience, right? I
yeah, it was
mean,
far
just
enough away where I
you'll
could.
never forget it. You'll
No,
never
no. I was
forget
like,
it.
that's like I almost didn't believe I was seeing it, Like
Right.
that's a tornado.
Yeah. But yeah, I digress to
Yeah,
you.
yeah, we
But
got sidetracked there. But you stuck to your training except when the tornado decided to follow you again.
right, right. Well, and like you said, I mean, trusting the process, because there were times, especially in the taper, and then after the Badger 100, where I'm like, I'm just gonna sneak a workout in here, I just won't wear my watch. He'll never know. And there was one time where I actually got on the treadmill, and I'm like, I'm just gonna bust out a half hour or something. I got on, and this was probably less than a week from the Badger 100, because
Yeah.
I had gotten out on my bike a couple days later with a buddy from work. So I'm like,
Yeah.
and that felt good. So I get on the treadmill, and I'm like, no, something's not right.
Yeah.
I'm like, David was right.
I'm not ready yet.
I need to chill out, and
Go for a walk.
and, well, and I appreciate that, because I would have never known that. I
Yeah.
would have just started looking at that online sheet I printed off and been like, oh yeah, we'll just do what this says,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just taking that step to real and say to myself, I can do this on my own, but I think I should get some help. And that's hard for me. I've been built up my whole life from family. My family, we have a pretty significant weight issue, obesity issue.
Yeah.
And obviously I fell into that, being about 235 pounds,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm just like, man, I don't want, I gotta show my family, I gotta represent something that like people can say, just think about something else than like, my dad dying or
Mhm.
just something to be like, oh, this is coming up, like Phil's
Yeah.
doing this. Like, and like I said, everybody like jumped on board. And it wasn't at first, but I really needed it when I figured out they did because,
Yeah.
you know, we got pretty deep, man. Like
Yeah.
you had me out there for 6 hours one day and,
Yeah.
5 and 4 and 4 and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like, but the training was not easy. It's just mentally,
Yeah.
that was one really good thing about Ultramarathon Mindset podcast because Eric always talked about just what it takes,
Yeah.
like it kind of, he always described and had stories about just being able to like fight through, push through just walk through the pain,
Yeah.
and the mental stuff going on, just walk through it,
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, knowing that like ultra stuff is just, you know, this isn't, you just wake up and show up at the
Yeah.
trailhead,
Yeah.
and, no, man, it was cool. Like I was able to like show my family and inspire some of them. Like I have aunts and even my mother's lost over 25 pounds,
Dude,
and
that's cool.
right, so because we were messing with diets, because I was like, I found out because I was still drinking. So like I found out I couldn't outrun a bad diet. I know
Yeah.
everybody's heard that before, but it's true. You
Yeah.
cannot
He's
run,
like, you're
yeah,
walking
yeah, because
14 miles a
I
day and
was
you still
putting
like,
in
what?
yeah, I was putting in 14 miles a day at work, plus, afterwards running whatever it said that day. And I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I'm doing all this work and I still look like bleep and I'm feeling better.
Yeah.
So like we tried the whole vegan thing, but like we kept in like fish and chicken breasts,
Yeah.
and actually like the only problem with that is it really limits a lot of stuff you can eat. So like you're kind of like forced into like, well, for us anyways, forced into eating a lot of carbs, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I mean it helped because during
Mhm.
that period of time I had stopped drinking diet soda, and
Yeah.
I guess I got a little ahead of myself. So before we signed up for these hundreds, Malia, my wife, said, well, if you're gonna do this, you need to stop drinking. And
Mm.
I said, okay, like I will, because
Yeah.
I really want to do this 100, So I
Yeah.
did. And like we just got to business, and I think it was probably less than a couple weeks later I got in touch with you. And yeah, like I can't believe it because I and I'm not out of the woods,
Yeah.
like I'll never be that person that has the date on their tattooed on their arm that's like, oh, this is the day I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
always probably like have some beers when appropriate, like my
Yeah.
new thing now is like, if I don't have the next day off, then forget about it, you're not
Yeah.
drinking, like it's really easy that way because it's not complicated. If you don't have a
Yeah.
day off, then you don't drink, you know
Yeah. There you go.
and I drink beer, light beer. So it's not like because I've learned, when I was actually drinking like alcohol, 'cause I was a Captain Morgan guy when I was younger.
Yeah.
I was either like, it was 50-50 like chance. I was either like the most awesome person to hang out with, or I was just the butthead that nobody wanted to be around. So like it was a 50 chance. No, so we got that figured out. I just started drinking light beer, but like I said, it progressed to every night. And just so to be able to have something more important after like that consistency of 5 years of drinking, it was
Yeah.
it was kind of a big deal for me because I had
Yeah.
found something finally that like I cared more about and I really wanted to do,
Yeah.
and so yeah, man, like when I had got a hold of you, I'm like, I think I said, I was this much weight, I stopped drinking, and and man, like that changed my life more than me sitting up in my bed one morning in the dark saying, I'm going to change my life. It was
Yeah.
just another step,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
The
this,
next step in the progression, like you didn't just stay where you were. You still moving forward. Like, I'm going to take more
right,
steps toward being better. Yeah.
exactly. And, um, I just, I just like this ultra stuff, like
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna be labeled the rails to trails guy
Yeah.
once we get done here today. But like y- it's fine because I do enjoy those 50Ks with some elevation. And I just want to say, like, western, southern Wisconsin and Iowa, there's some sneaky good races,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I just want to say, hey, Crater Trail Run, loved it. We're doing water crossings, we're pulling ourselves up with ropes,
Nice.
like I no, and it was another one of those things where, like, I'm like, they don't give out medals, you just get a t-shirt, but like
Yeah.
after I did it, literally I went up to the race director. I didn't have a very good time because it was tough. I had
Yeah.
never, I mean, it was, yeah, it was legit. I think
Yeah.
when I'd first hooked up with you, like, I think it was like 2 weeks or something, and you saw it, and you're like, oh, you did some climbing, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So like I finished the crater, and I'm passing the line, and the race director's there, and I'm like, dude, I haven't been throwing a beating like that in years, man. And I just wanted him to know, like, hey, man, I had a good time,
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and it really did humble me. So, but I am, even though I'm probably labeled rails to trails guy, like I do have a lot of interest in doing these 50Ks with some elevation because I'm from the Midwest. Let's call it is what it is, man. We
Yeah.
don't have the mountains, and
Yeah.
this
You
and
got to
that.
travel for that stuff.
Right. I mean, every time I go to Iowa or Michigan, it's over 2 hours,
Yeah.
but that's doable,
Yeah.
and it's worth it. Like,
Yeah.
get a hotel, make a weekend out of it is cool.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
well,
since we've been working, oh, go.
no, I was gonna say, so let's talk about, like, leading up to Badger, and I want to get into Badger, because this is your your A race, your goal race. This is what you were working toward and stuff. And so we got to work together. We kind of looked at what your training was, and we started getting you to do some runs, and we were figuring it out. We were talking
Yeah,
logistics, we were talking race strategy. Dude, your wife's awesome. Malia, she's all in on that, man. When I sent
man.
the spreadsheet, I could tell she's like, yeah, I'm all about the spreadsheet. She said, feels like she just tells me what to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the smart way to,
Oh yeah.
like, proceed with it. Well, here's the thing, like, I don't know if it's because of my dad or what, but, like, I'm really from, like, doing the martial arts when I was super young. I'm good at, like, following instructions.
Yeah.
I should
Yeah.
have been in the military because, like,
Yeah.
you tell me, like, something to do, I do it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, no, Badger, man, on my home court, got to
Yeah.
train on the trail every weekend,
Yeah.
and I really don't want to come off too confident or like, oh, this guy thinks he can do anything. But if I trust myself, I can do anything. But
Yeah.
like, I don't let it. But I'm also like grounded because if I don't think I can do something, I won't do it. But like, we've been talking about this cowboy thing,
Yeah.
and it's just been
Yeah.
running through my head,
Cowboy
man.
200 for those listening. The cowboy.
Man, yeah, I'm sure you would ask me that later, but I just wanted to bring it up because
Yeah.
now that's something in my head every day. I can do it, but like I really gotta trust like Malia, David to get me ready. I
Yeah.
know I can do it. Like,
But you gotta get ready.
yeah, like, but we have a long time to work together, and I'm interested to see how that goes because, and I asked you, like, how's that gonna work? We're just gonna go through a bunch of different cycles, so like, I feel like we're gonna get there.
Oh yeah.
and I think by now you know me enough. Like, we're gonna get this done.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, so
We're
so
gonna get this done.
what was funny, and I shared this with you yesterday because you and so I'm looking at your training, what we were able to put in just on Training Peaks, and also knowing you're walking 13 to 14 miles 5 days a week. On
Yep.
top of that, on top of like a solid, like just the running was a training block. You put in that, I was like, yeah, he's gonna do it. But I shared with you, like you were like, I got this or whatever. And there's always in the back of my mind, like, hope Phil's not overconfident there, because it's going, but I like it. Like you had confidence in yourself, and but it was founded. Like you put in the work and you knew, and it was fun. I don't know, just walking through the process, getting ready, and seeing you kind of go through those emotions. Taper week's funny because you
Yeah.
don't know what to do with yourself. Taper weeks,
Right. Yeah. Oh,
try
man.
to get
No,
ready.
it was fun. It
Yeah.
was fun.
So
Like,
tell me, like, okay, we did put the work in. We've had all these discussions, man, and I love you. You picked my brain, and we talked, and you're finally at the starting line. Like, what's going through your mind when you're there? You kind of shared a little bit with me yesterday. Like, what you feeling,
yeah.
man? What you feeling?
So, I mean, for like a couple days before, people at work are asking me like, "How you feeling?" Like just family and stuff. And I'm like, "I'm good, man. I'm ready. Like I put the work in,
Yeah.
like I'm ready to go. Like there's nothing more that I could have done with what we had, the time
Yeah.
we had. And we show up that morning and I'm just like super like, this is my home court. Like it only took us 20 minutes to get here. So
Yeah.
we get out of the car and I'm looking around, I gotta piss and like there's lines at the back, the porta potties. So like I get that out of the way and then the race director starts doing his thing and he's pretty much pumping us up. Look, and I'm looking around, not paying attention just because like you know, it's a rail's a trail, so I can't get lost. I wasn't worrying about, oh, take this,
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
north or go west. But I'm looking around and I'm like, I belong here. Like,
That's cool.
you know what I mean? And I don't know if I ever felt that in my entire life. I'm like, I should be here.
I
And
like it.
I just we start at, well, first of all, we had the strategy and I've been training with the Hal Higdon, do 10, run 10, hike 5, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had that strategy and I stuck to it, man. And, I said to you the night before or whatever, I said, it's not going to bother me that like a bunch of people are going to be passing me, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
like I'll probably pass them and eventually like clear them and all that. What I didn't know is every time I got into that 10-minute run, I'm going harder than I wanted to because I'm passing so many people. And you know
Taking
how it is, man. Like
taking
you
souls.
well, it was just like I end up running my fastest like 50K. And I'm like, that's probably not good.
It's right.
That's probably not good. But it was weird because I just didn't expect to like all the energy I was gonna have to expend passing all these people.
Yeah.
And I got to about 40 miles and I'm like, what was your goal today? It was to finish this race because at 40 miles, I'm like, I don't know, man. If I can, like, I have to switch up what I'm doing,
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
said to myself, what was the goal? Finish.
Yeah.
And so, like, I just went into like full, like, busy workday mode where I'm just like hiking like a maniac, and I'm holding about, God, right about a 5 mile per hour race at that point.
That's a fast walk. Yeah, that's a fast hike,
Yeah, no,
dude.
I'm hammering.
Yeah.
And so I get to about 50 and I hadn't been listening to music all day. And I'm like, I just got to talk to somebody. So I call my wife and I'm hiking. So like I can talk, without like, have a normal conversation. And I told her, I'm like, I just need to talk to someone. I said, I'm fine. you know, but I've
Yeah.
been out here for however long. And she's like, and I asked her, I said, so how am I doing? Do you know how I'm doing? Malia said, do you really want to know? I'm like, yeah, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean, she's like, you're 13th. I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean
What?
I'm
Me?
13th? Yeah, because they ran the 100K people and the 100 miler people at the same time. So
Yeah.
you never knew like where you were,
Yeah.
you know. And so like I'm getting to that 60 mile where I was gonna pick up my sister. Like, I mean, you know, I'm sure this is the way I mean, I'm sure most people listening to this have forgotten more about ultras than I know. So all the like the killers, you know, that first 7 people that finish, they're coming by me as I'm almost getting to that turnaround spot. And they're like, man, you look really good. Oh my God, 67. That was my bib number, you
Yeah.
know, and these are like, you know, the killers on, you
Yeah. Yeah.
know, and I'm like, okay, you know, feeling good. And then so like I pick up my sister and it was a 20-mile stretch. And we get to the point and then we're coming back, and that was when we came back, I was gonna pick up Malia for 80 to 100. But as we're coming back, I start noticing like how crappy people were looking because I was like, you know, 30 miles or more ahead of like most people.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting, like, I knew like people were gonna struggle and stuff, but I'm looking over and I'm like, oh my God, like they're a wreck. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, like when it's different from when you hear about it and then you see it, you know, like, because there were people out there. I ended up finishing, what was it, 2140
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it was
2140.
2140.
Yep.
And there were people out there for like 3550 because they had 36-hour cutoff.
Yeah.
And we got back to the house, and Malia all day is just like seeing who's still there, you know, because that's and I'm thinking the whole time, like, God, man, like, I don't know if I could be out there for 35 hours, you know, like that's impressive, man. I had a
That
lot of respect because I saw these people just disintegrating when I was at like 70, and they're
and they
still
kept
out
going.
there. Yeah, no, like for real, like only I think like they had a pretty high like finish rate. I think only like out of 150, 100 milers, like only like 20 something didn't finish. So people were like,
Yeah.
they were like,
Just
you know,
grinding it out, dude.
yeah, like, you know, slugging it out, man. And I love it. Like, and that's actually like, that's one of the things I remember most about it. Cause like, I'm sure someday I'll be in that position. Like, especially if I end
Yeah.
up eventually getting out into like a mountain run or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll be that guy that's like, oh my God, look at him.
Yeah. Yeah. There'll be some other Phils out there going, that guy looks rough.
Oh, man.
There's just different ways of you know, when you push through and you get it done, it's cool, but and then when you have to it's a different experience. It's a different toughness. It's a different, you know, because I've had a few where I've had to grind them out, and
Yeah.
that can mentally wear at you too, like when you're especially when you're used to just knocking them out, and you get one that just punch you in the mouth, and you're like,
Right.
all right, I gotta change my mindset. I gotta have the mindset to just keep moving and not worry about the time and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And
And that's
so
one of the
just gotta
things
do
you
it.
said to me, just progressive forward movement, you know?
Yeah.
And I ended up like I was just like, got into like, you know, I settled in. And
Yeah.
even though like I was hiking it out, it didn't matter. I was moving faster than like most everybody. And
Yeah.
there was like every time like there was always like a group of like 2 or 3 ladies that like were coming at me as I'm passing. And you know, you could tell that they were just out there having fun, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every time I ran into one of those group of ladies, they're like, you look good, man. You look good, you know. And
Yeah.
because what ended up also happening is I ended up dropping my sister, and I felt really bad, you know. But we had talked about it
Yeah.
though. I said, is that, you
Yeah.
know, you told me, you said, you know, don't feel bad. Like these
Right.
people are here to help you. So the funny part about it is I'm probably about a half mile in front of my sister. I dropped her, and I saw these 3 ladies, and I said, there's a woman right behind me, It's my sister. Will you tell her thank you? I love her and I'll call her. And I swear to God. Later on, I said to my sister a couple days later, I'm like, did those ladies say anything to you? She's like, yeah, they did. And she's like, it made her feel really good though, my
Yeah.
sister, because like I had thought enough to be like, because you know how it is with crew,
Yeah.
man. Like you
Yeah.
gotta like appreciate these people.
Yeah.
And
They're giving up time to help your
yeah,
sweaty, stinky butt,
yeah, and that probably wouldn't have happened, but like my competitive juices started flowing after Malia said I was 13,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you had those 7 killers, and then you had about like 8 guys who were like kind of like jostling, or just like your regular guys with jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
We were like, and I'm like, man, because at one point I'm in like the top 10. So I told April, I said, this is situation. Everything's changed.
Got to
Like,
go.
yeah, right. And so that was fine.
Yeah.
But it was just unexpected, to like, I knew I would probably be in like the top 50, I felt good about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I gotta be able to like do
Yeah.
that at least. People at work are like, oh, you probably get like 70 and everything. And I'm like, no, I think I'm gonna do a little better than that. Well, dude, when I got done and I finally finished 14th, let me say this real quick. So the race director hands me my buckle, and I literally almost fall into his arms, and I'm like, that was awesome. I'm just like, that was, but it's funny because in training, I'm thinking like, oh, I'm gonna start bawling. I'm gonna just, I'm gonna finish and like everything's just gonna fall apart. I'm gonna be crying. And it was like, nah, man, like I was so laser focused
Yeah.
that once I
Yeah.
finished, I was just like, let's go Hennepin, baby.
Yeah.
Like,
On to the next.
yeah, exactly. And but those guys, it was cool. Like they Badger 100, good people.
That's good.
As far as my nutrition went, we thought we had it dialed in,
Yeah.
and I think we got a little lucky because it was literally a perfect day. It was right under 80, no
Yeah.
rain, the trail was dry, and so it was 22 salt tabs, 11 Vespas, and every station that had like bananas, slices of oranges, and cut up pieces of peanut butter and jelly, I snagged them. That was it, though. That
Yeah.
was it. That's all for my nutrition. Like just some fruit, peanut butter and jelly,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then the salt tabs, basically. And never felt like getting sick. So I was
Yeah.
able just to stay in my groove,
That's cool.
and
That's the goal. That's the goal. That's what you want,
right. And like I was saying to you last night about Hennepin, I'm like really curious, is like, am I that guy at the Badger 100, or I just get lucky? So I'm just kind of like waiting to see those results,
Yeah.
because of course now I want to beat 2140, and it's basically like the same type of course, and I think I will. I'm pretty sure. We have been talking about some, maybe changing up strategies a little bit, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hit that. I'm gonna get a little below that, but
Well, so you got it. I mean, you did fantastic, especially your first 100, and you knocked it out. And you always learn. We learn from it. We learned we got to figure out what happened to your foot.
yeah, no, so what happened, I think, is like I trained on that trail. It was either the treadmill or I was on the trail. We were going to run for the race. What
Yeah.
happened was they had to divert us for about a mile or two onto
Yeah.
like road, and there was actually like some elevation there.
The climate. Yeah.
Right. So I got about, up to like the third hill, the third climb. And next thing you know, I'm like, damn, man, I feel a blister on my right foot. And and literally like, it wasn't even a minute later, I'm like, this blister has just spread across the entire ball of my foot from side to side. And
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
like, next thing you know, I'm squishing. But at the same time, I got Malia pacing me, and she's
Yeah. This is what,
trained
87 miles in is when it happened? Something like that?
86, 87. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Malia had put in work to get me there. She knew she
Yeah.
was going to run 20. So she was ready to go. So I'm just squishing on this foot and I let it go. I'm like, we're
Yeah.
this close. Like, so
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason I'm like hesitant about Cowboy because it's like, man, like that was like the one little bit of adversity. Actually, the skin just fell off today because
Yeah.
yeah,
With your
yesterday.
permission, I can put the picture on the webpage for people to see. The picture you sent.
Did I send you one? Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you sent me.
yeah. Oh man,
Yeah, because remember I was like, that's awesome.
pretty. It's pretty. It's a little gnarly. I mean, I think it's a proper. People would see that picture and be like, okay, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I should send you an updated one now that the skins all come off because you
Yeah, we
can
can do
really
a.
see now how big it was.
Yeah,
You know.
that's good
So we
stuff.
slugged it out.
Yeah,
I think we were maybe lost about 30 seconds a mile to a minute, you know, after
yeah,
that. But we
yeah,
were so close.
yeah. Just got to keep moving.
Yeah, no, man. We just it was just one of those experiences that you'll remember for the rest of your life. And
Yeah,
I'm so glad I had, you know, my sister Malia and you to just guide me through it, you know, because I might have been one of those 30-hour people, you know, or more, like doing
yeah.
it without you guys. And it was a lot more fun doing it the way we did
Yeah, yeah.
it.
Well, and what's fun is like we just and you know because we had a limited amount of time and we worked with it and you put the work in and like and then we do have Hennepin coming up, you know, so had to get you recovered. Now we're building quick back up and bouncing into it. But what's going to be fun is after that doing you know spending some time and like really working on some things and that's going to be you know just like we talked about mining that potential you know like let's see what else is in there
Yeah.
and I love that you feel like there's more in there you know that you're like I know I can do
Oh
this
man,
and I
like
so that's fun and you know you put in the work you know that you got to put in the work to discover that like it's not just going to come out you got to get it out
no,
and
man.
so
I
I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be fun just to see what else we can do, man.
I think like you know dropping the 65 pounds since last November is I'm steady 170, you know,
Yeah.
so like a solid 170, and for
Yeah.
that's okay, you know, like I still got you know some extra muscle, but I really think I need to get to that 155 160 like
Yeah.
steady there.
Yeah.
Just I think that's where I need to be if we're gonna do this cowboy thing, you know?
Well,
I mean,
as
10
we
pounds is 10 pounds, man.
yeah. Well, as we, you know, as we because we missed, we didn't get to do some of the early training blocks with, you know, fitness and stuff and all. I think that's just going to take care of itself once we get in there. If you keep eating
Yeah,
healthy, it's not going to be
right.
something we have to intentionally do. You just keep eating the right way, and we're gonna hammer it, and it's going to be like,
Oh, man,
there it is.
well, like, and I think, you know, you had a lot to do with, Maria and I have been, eating a lot, like, she's completely shut out, like, processed sugar, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, I mean, if I could cut out half of it, which I've cut way more than half of it out, you know,
Yeah.
bonus.
Yeah.
And I can definitely tell that. And it's we've been kind of like drifting towards the whole OFM thing.
Yeah.
And we had talked about it a little bit. And you're like, you know, that takes time. And so like she's on it, you know, she's
Yeah.
adapted. But like
Yeah.
me, you know, I'm gonna get there just for like my family genetics. Like I'm spreading I'm trying to be a good example. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of in my family, I have people on social security and sometimes I wonder how could I be related to these people, you know, like it's like was I adopted, you
They
know,
might be
cuz
listening, Phil. You better chill, bro.
but like hey man, the only people I'm worried about is my aunts cuz my mom has 5 sisters and they raised me, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
My mom and her 5 sisters like you know, whenever my parents like wanted to do their thing, they just dropped me off over at one of those guys' places.
Yeah.
So, but no, like, hey man, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's been a struggle, whether it's
Yeah.
habits,
Yeah.
drinking. I mean, I hate to do the like I'm from Wisconsin thing, so everybody drinks. You
Yeah.
hear that a lot. But, there's some truth to that, like drink Wisconsinably is a phrase.
I'd have
And
never heard that.
yeah, not drink responsibly, drink
No, drink Wisconsin.
responsibly.
That sounds a lot
Yeah,
different from responsibly.
and it is for sure. No, but I just like wanted to get people's minds off like what had happened to us because it
Yeah.
was tough, man. My old man, he was only 62 and prostate cancer, and
Yeah.
until it happens to you, man, like
Yeah.
you can hear all the stories but being his primary caretaker and just taking him to all the appointments and watching him disintegrate in front of my eyes, like,
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, like, like I said, man, I worry about my sister and my mom more. My mom's getting better,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
she was with the guy for 46 years,
Yeah.
you know.
That's nothing easy to overcome, man.
Yeah, but like I said, man, that guy, he was the guy that would get kicked out of like our soccer games. The ref would be like, "You're out of here,"
Yeah.
because dude would be like play to play guy.
Yeah.
Like it was
That's,
ridiculous. I mean, that only happened a few times, so he wasn't like a complete jerk or anything. But
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
no, he was into
He
it,
was
man.
invested. He was invested.
Man, like every person that like my dad touched, as far as like being in soccer and hockey and stuff, they all showed up at his funeral, and I
That's
hadn't
cool.
talked to like those guys in years,
Yeah.
but they all showed up. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, man, it was, people were cool, man. It was just like one of those things where I think it like propelled me,
Yeah.
like I wasn't the guy who's like, "Oh, man, like my dad just died." Or, how like people like break up with someone and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna get in shape,"
Yeah.
It took me like months, before like that morning happened to me where I was
Yeah.
like, "I'm gonna change my life." It was, so like it was like something I did on my time.
Yeah.
I didn't like do it because of my dad. It was like, oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say when people like, I try to, people I love, people I know, and this is kind of a tidbit for your family, man. Like everybody has to decide for themselves when they're gonna do it, and we can encourage them and inspire them, but until it clicks, until they wake up one day and say, "I got to do something different," you can't make them. You can't make them do that. And what's cool is what you're doing. You're showing what's possible for somebody who just believes in themselves, puts in the work, and goes out and does it. And so like, you know, and from what you've said, like your dad would be proud. Like my son just ran 100 miles. My parents, man, they they're retired and they live up in Arkansas. They retired up to Arkansas. But my dad's always, they're always talking about their son who goes run all these things. My son ran 200 miles. And
Right.
they're proud of it. And so it's I don't know, it's cool. I'm the one in my family that does that, and that's what I do.
Yeah, man. Like as far as Badger goes, like for the rest of my life, one thing that'll stick out the most is we had gotten back to the house that morning and I'd slept a couple hours and I got up and I went upstairs and my mom like came out. She hasn't looked at me like this since I was a child
Yeah,
because because we got our little pain cave in her basement, and so she saw all the workouts, she saw all the stretching, she saw all the core work. And that morning she looked at me like I was a kid again and she's like, "You did it. You
that's
did
so
it,
cool.
man." And I'm
Yeah,
like, it just, was one of those things where I'm like, wow, man, I really finally affected some people because at first I just felt like I was alienating people,
yeah,
and it was tough, like to get through that, but I knew I couldn't do anything about it because I just had this in my mind. Once, I'm German, so like once I get something in my mind, it's like forget about
is
it.
there is there?
Yeah, like it's not going away.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, that was cool. Like it made it all worth it for me. Just to get her mind off like what had happened and to
Yeah.
think about other stuff. I mean, I
Yeah.
just I don't know, man. I can't
That's,
wait to strap those shoes on again and get out to Hennepin. That's for sure. I'm
well,
ready to roll,
and
man.
that's the cool thing, you know, there's more, you know, and there's Hennepin and then beyond. And so, man, it's fun. It's fun to watch people. It's fun. It's been fun to watch you kind of discover that. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else you can do, man. And so we got Hennepin and probably some other stuff. And then, you know, we're talking about being a cowboy. So we'll see, we'll see how it goes. But you know, the other thing, you know, before we get off, man, is that what's cool is, you know, you're all in, you're putting in the work, but then you also got Malia there. She believes in you, man. It's so obvious when, you know, I talked to both of y'all. We got on a couple calls and stuff before the race, you know, just to talk through logistics and stuff. And like, dude, she's all in, man. And it's fun. It's cool. She
You
believes in
know,
you and she supports you. And she's not only in words, but she's doing it, you know, and
yeah,
that's
man.
cool.
And like you always hear like, you know, oh, my wife's so great, you know, this, you know, all that whole story you hear a bunch of times. And the thing is, man, is like you said, man, she's you know how like you got to show up, man. You
Yeah.
know, you got to show up, and she
Yeah.
always shows up. Whether it
Yeah.
was like you know, because I was in some pretty competitive soccer leagues as late 20s and my 30s, and then we did, you know, 5 years of this competitive cycling, you know, and just she taught me how to snowboard, you know, and
Yeah.
we went out to Utah like all those years in a row, and none of that would have happened without her, you
Yeah.
know. And like, I mean, what do you say? Like,
Yeah.
you just appreciate like, because for me, like I tell people, I'm like, no matter what I do, I got to put myself in danger. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I
Yeah.
don't, because I want to feel alive.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that makes me feel alive. Even when I step out, like to go to work, you know, I'm driving around, I'm walking, I'm getting attacked by dogs, you know, like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's for real, man. Like, I've been,
Yeah.
since I started at the post office, I've been in the emergency room like 5 times.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm good for one emergency room visit a year,
Yeah.
basically. So, like, I mean, that's probably part of the reason I like it, you know.
Yeah.
And I got a good group of people at work, so it all works out. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, like I just love that, you know, like doing stuff that you will always remember, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
that's kind of my thing. So like when I'm just like a lost soul, brother, like I'm trying to figure out what I'm seeking, man, and I don't
Yeah.
know what it is, but I know this ultra stuff is gonna get me there. It might
It's
not
part of it.
even be this ultra stuff,
Yeah.
like I said earlier,
Yeah.
but like you're having fun, man.
That's it.
You know,
Well,
because I
well,
like
man,
the discipline, you know,
yeah. Well, I'm
definitely.
excited and I'm thankful that you trusted me to be part of the journey, man. And looking forward
And
to where it goes. And we'll just keep trucking, man. Um,
oh man,
and hey, thanks for that, and then thanks for jumping on here and sharing your story with everybody, man. You know, and I
well,
have a
you know,
feeling we'll have some future ones though with some of the stuff on the horizon. So we'll
you
jump
know,
on it again once some other craziness ensues.
I'm not a fanboy necessarily, but man, for me to like have listened to like over 500 podcasts of like ultra running, and then just to be like doing this right now is it's surreal, man. Like
Yeah,
when I got a hold of you, the last thing on my mind was like, oh, I'm gonna get on that podcast, you know, because you had
yeah.
mentioned it like a few weeks after we had been talking, and like I was like, okay, and you're like,
I was like, you
well,
get
if you
this
don't want
done,
to
we're
do
gonna
it,
do it.
yeah, if you don't want to, you know, you said to me, you're like, no, 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 it's fine. I just wasn't expecting you to say that, you know.
I love that. It's like a carrot. Like, hey man, let's you know, you get this race done. Let's do it. Let's talk
Man,
about the process, man, and share it. And that's
yeah,
the whole
no,
thing.
man.
You've listened to so many episodes and you've been encouraged and learned some things. And so it's a way of sharing and paying it forward, man. You know? And so well, dude, um, I gotta go get my daughter at the volleyball game. just
Hey, man.
realizing I'm just realizing now. I was like,
I hope she won, man, because you know, good vibes is what I'm all about, my friend.
Yeah, well, she
So
actually she turned her ankle, and so she's having to just be support today, but I still got to go get her. So
yeah,
if she was playing, we wouldn't be doing this podcast. She's there supporting her team and probably line judge or whatever. So,
yeah,
but I got to go get her. And
yeah. No,
but
I'll
dude,
let
this
you
has
get
been,
to it, man. Yeah, man.
yeah, hey,
Don't worry.
yeah,
I know there's gonna be episode 2. It's fine.
that's right. That's right. All right, my brother. Well, let me hit stop on this thing, and we'll talk again soon, man.
All right, cool, man. Sounds good.